It's The Little Pig That Could, and one of the most surprisingly heartwarming films of the 90s. Today, we head down to Hoggett Farm to revisit the 1995 classic, Babe, and ask the question, does this barnyard tale still bring home the bacon? Or has it been sent to the slaughterhouse after all these years? Then, will Seth stump me on trivia? Or will I make Farmer Hoggett proud and say just the right thing?
Did this movie make the 2000s list from the American Film Institute's 500 nominated for the top 100 funniest American movies? True or false?
And of course, how are we going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at Grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic? So grab your favorite snack, whether it's some oats from the trough, a carrot from the garden, or anything that didn't come from a pig, because that'll do. This is Movies at Grandma's House. Hello, please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat, make yourself comfortable. Welcome to Movies at Grandma's House, where we love to revisit the movies from our childhood and answer the question, does it still hold up? And is it family friendly enough that even Grandma can enjoy? And I'm your host, Isaac, the man who in his life had uttered fewer words than any of them knew exactly what to say.
This is Seth. That'll do, pig.
Oh, it is great to see you, Seth. How you feeling?
I'm actually doing pretty darn good today.
That's fantastic. This is going to be a great episode. I'm really excited to be covering this one. It's from the 90s, but as a reminder for ones at home, what is Grandma putting on for us to watch this visit?
1995's Babe.
So if you have never seen this film, be forewarned. We're going to be talking about it at length. We're going into spoiler territory, so consider yourself warned. Well, now's the time to get some snacks, get all settled in. Are you ready, Seth?
Yes.
All right, I'm ready. I got my snacks from Big Poppin'. It is kettle corn from Ohio. So go check out our friends. They are going to be doing different events in Ohio area. It is my movie snack of choice. So go check them out when you get a chance. Well, let's get some more information about this movie in some film facts. So Babe was released back on August 4th, 1995. It had a budget of $30 million. The box office, $254.1 million. Looking around at some reviews, IMDb is 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 98%. Letterboxd, 3.5 out of 5. Currently, as of this recording, you can watch it for free on Amazon Prime. It stars James Cromwell, Christine Cavanaugh, Magda, Szubanski, Hugo Weaving, and many more. It's in association with Universal Pictures. And finally, we have to hear, how does Grandma feel about this one?
Granny's family-friendly rating for Babe is B for intense scenes.
Yeah, this is pretty much a wholesome family movie. I think to myself, if I'm going to say a family movie, this covers it. Now, with that said, the premise takes place on a farm, so there are some intense moments, and we'll talk about it more. But for the most part, it's a family movie. That's how I would look at it. But I got to get your thoughts, Seth. What jumps out to you when it comes to the film facts?
So really, that's the ranking. You got IMDb at 6.9, Rotten Tomatoes 98%, Letterboxd at 3.5 out of 5. What's funny to me is that the Rotten Tomato score is so high and the other scores aren't as reflecting that.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious as to what people are saying out there, to see what, how the general public feels about it, because that's a high score. I mean, my goodness, 98, that's almost impossible. So, wow, that's amazing.
I agree, because Rotten Tomatoes, if you're in the 90s, that seems like a feat. And 98, that's even more rare. So it is kind of funny to see that drop off. Now, Letterboxd is more of like people. Rotten Tomatoes has that, but those are the ratings from actual critics. Same thing with IMDb, but that is true. It is kind of interesting to look at across the board. What jumps out to me is this was a hit. I remember back when it came out. We'll talk about our first memories more, but the box office, $254.1 million. That's a lot for 90s, it feels like. So this was a hit, and I think you're still kind of feeling the pop culture references to this day. At least I do. I don't know for sure, but we'll get into it more as we talk about it as well. And we want to hear from you. Be sure you leave comment down below your rating, memories, all that good stuff. We'd love to hear from you. We see you out there. Well, let's jump into this one. Let's go back to the beginning. So let's hear, what are your first memories with Babe?
So I saw this in theaters when it came out. with many revisits since. So this is one of those that would be back, playing occasionally, but still enough that you would be pretty familiar with it.
Yeah. I want to say my first memories, I didn't see it in the theaters, but it was shortly after that time. We might have rented it or it was at a friend's house, that kind of thing, right when it came out on VHS. And then it was almost on repeat because we had one of those movie channels and it was still that newly released. For some reason, I have this and Dunstan Checks In, two movies that were like almost back to back. There was like a family movie channel. So those two movies, I just have this memory of watching them constantly. Whenever I would decide I'm going to put this movie channel on, it was on. It's commercial free, all that stuff. So those are my first memories with this one. I remember enjoying it. I always associate Babe with Rugrats because we'll get into, the characters and such, but that's Chucky. I just hear Chucky all the time. That's a fun memory, I think, back of being a kid. And during that time, that Rugrats was still big when this came out. But again, 1995. I mean, I can't believe it's been that long ago, but what were your expectations coming back on the rewatch with this one?
So like I said, I was pretty familiar with it. So I knew what I was in for, but really it was just so to see if it was still good today, if it's held up or if my feelings had changed any or over the years.
Right. I had not seen this in a while. I'm going to be fully honest. It had been a while. I don't know why. I thought, maybe I'd seen it and I thought about it more. I'm like, no, it's actually been probably a few years. So I was like, I hope it holds up, obviously. But I was also interested to see, I've got my kids, see their reaction. What do they think of it? Because this was one I do recall watching a lot growing up. So I'm always putting that checkbox, like, what are their thoughts? I was really interested to know. Well, before we get into Plot Rewind, let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsors.
Hey, love movies as much as we do? Then bring the experience of the theater to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into the classics, the blockbusters, or indie gems, they have something for every single film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can save up to 15% on your order right now. Just use code Grandma's House at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today.
All right, let's take the VHS out of the cover. Let's put it in the VCR and press play.
Arthur, a local farmer, wins a piglet at a fair. This pig befriends a sheepdog and eventually learns to herd sheep even at a competition level. This movie tells the story of a farm life and its ups and downs, its tragedies and victories, whether small or large. Pay close attention as Granny puts on this barnyard favorite.
Very nice. Yeah, this is taking me back. Anytime I watch it, it's one of those, I don't know if there's just movies like this. It has this balance. We talked about it's a family movie, but it also goes into some deep themes. Right off the bat, the first scene, poor Babe loses his mother. It's like, whoa, this is not sugarcoating anything. I mean, that's the farm life. If you grew up on a farm, I think it's relatable. But obviously you didn't have talking pigs back on your farm. But, the premise of just this is how these animals contribute to the farm. They do their own thing. Cows, they even bring it out. They do their milk and chickens lay eggs, so on and so forth. But that's what kind of strikes me is like when I'm first watching this, like, oh, this is actually a realistic, like it's not just like, let's all have sunshine and rainbows, but there's some fun and wholesome moments too. But that was kind of it took me back a little bit. Like I kind of miss when movies, they don't have to be so graphic. I'm not saying that, but they just are realistic. They kind of keep it grounded a little bit. So that's what strikes me. And obviously, like I mentioned, the voice, you have Christine Cavanaugh and the practical effects. I forgot Jim Henson's studio did the practical effects. So it was just it was a mixture of just, wow, like this really does take me back to the 90s, all those things mixed into one. But got to get your thoughts. What is kind of your first impressions as you watch the movie?
Well, as you said, I mean, the realisticness of the film is kind of what catches you off guard maybe a couple times within this picture. But I will say that I was surprised just how well the story holds up given its age. It's came out quite a while ago, and it still, to me, looked really nice, and they have that really classic cinematography. And I'll bring it out later, but they really do show that farm life, and it does play off well.
Yeah. It does look like a cozy farm too, like the way it's shot, like you're saying. I really do appreciate that. It just seems like, yeah, that'd be a really nice place to go visit. And here's me an adult. Like as a kid, if you would say that, like, are you kidding me? Why do you want to go to a farm? That sounds boring. But to me, I was getting that like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to go visit. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's got its charm as much as it's a farm. It's just, it breathes life. And obviously you have talking animals and those types of things. But even just the layout, like you were talking about, you hit it right on the head. The story has a unique premise of just this really fun world. It's simple. It's realistic outside of, again, the animals talking, but it's just a simple farmer that has this kind heart. I've always appreciated that character of Mr. Hoggett. He's just genuine. And right off the bat, I've caught something I didn't catch years ago of just that connection with Babe, because Babe is the runt and he's taken to this fair and Mr. Hoggett picks him up and he says, there's this connection. And I realized how important that scene was to the rest of the story, because if you were to say, yeah, this farmer, there's these sheep that need herded. They were saved because this pig ran out and stopped them. So then he had this bright idea of herding them. But it goes along with, there's that connection, if that makes sense. It really aided the plot. So I appreciated that on this rewatch. That's just a little thing I wanted to throw in there. Like I really enjoy coming back to a movie years later, because if you were to ask me, it's like, yeah, it's about a pig herding sheep. It's like, it sounds crazy, but when you watch it and it develops, it just clicks. And then this is all fiction. I'm not saying we're going to go out there and start herding sheep with pigs, because this movie's showing that. But I really do appreciate it. But what do you think of the plot and the story? Kind of elaborate on that more.
I'm going to echo you on a lot of different things, but I just thought, like you said, it was an interesting plot, but yet it was very simple. There are a couple surprises, so it does catch you off guard a few times. Especially, I think it's G. I think it's G, isn't it?
I think so, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of shocking a couple times. I was pleased by the script and the delivery. The plot is rather simple, but it's the way they tell the story. It's an emotional journey, and so it's well done. Yeah.
Right. And we'll get into characters, but it does. I really appreciate the plot takes the point of, as much as this is a farmer and a pig, they share similarities, because obviously Babe is that runt, this outcast, and is just told pretty much, you're a pig, you're useless. All you're good for is food for the farmer, and befriends this duck, and the duck's feeling the same way. And why I say the farmer's relatable is he's, like I was saying, kind of this genuine person and seems kind, but when he decides to enter Babe into this competition for herding sheep, he's almost like that outcast. People are just laughing at him. They're just like, are you crazy? And it's always this conflict, pushback against him. As much as it's not the one and the same, they share that adversity that they're faced with in different ways. And that's why I think it just works well. As much as, again, it sounds kind of funny, like that's the premise of a story, is a pig that herds sheep. It just, I don't know, it works. There's just something about the story that has a good flow. When you're watching it, you feel good about it. It teaches a lot of lessons as well. But I kind of touched on a little bit. I'm interested. There's a lot of characters in this one. What were your thoughts on the characters in this one?
I don't have much to say about it. Babe really stole the show. I love the main characters. They casted well. Like, everybody has their own individual personality. Even if they have a very short dialogue, it still works. But it had the farmer's look, and it really looked genuine, and they pull that off, and it just seems really well put together. And also to mention, going back, I think, like you said, that I believe that it brings you joy. Like, it's a feel good film, and that's important. I think, especially because revisiting this, it's a contrast to a lot of films today. So I thought that was nice, and like, the characters really do that.
Yes, the characters are a big part of it. Obviously, Babe is the title character, and I can't say enough about Christine Cavanaugh. She just captures that charm about his character, and it's just kind of that, like, oh, I'll go with the flow, just that personality, bubbly, and looks on the bright side of things. And that's what really, like you're saying, steals the show. But then you have these side characters. I mean, there's a duck that's thinking he's a rooster, and that kind of adds to the comedy a little bit there. You have these little side characters that add to that, because Babe can be funny too. Like, Babe has these funny one-liners, and just either just oblivious to what's going on, or just being more genuine than other people are. But I really like, obviously, Farmer Hoggett. He's just so, I don't know, inviting. Just the actor that's James Cromwell, he just does a terrific job. Like, I think he's the highlight when it comes to acting and interacting. I mean, you think about his position, and you're like, okay, you're going to be acting with this animatronic, special effects pig, and you're going to be doing a very heartfelt at times scenes. I just couldn't get over that. Like coming back to it, I appreciate his acting, but you also have Mrs. Hoggett, Magda Szubanski, and I butcher names, I know, but she's so great because she's got some comedy bits in there too.
Yeah.
She gets woke up by the duck. She's just like, we got to do something about that duck. I was just cracking up. I thought that was hilarious. And my wife made it. We were watching it together, and my wife's just like, one thing that did bug me about her is how much of a morning person she is, because she's always like out of bed and chipper. So there's a lot of fun characters. And for me personally, this might have been just a me thing. I love the narrator because that was Roscoe Lee Brown, just a legendary guy. And in my mind, see, I grew up in the 90s. I watched the animated Spider-Man. He was the Kingpin. Just kind of a side note. So when he's narrating, I'm thinking, I'll get you, Spider-Man. I don't know why I was thinking that. He's had other roles too, but that's where my mind goes. So this is a great cast. It's got great characters. There's a nice variety across the board. It's not just, this or that. And you have Hugo Weaving as Rex as well. I couldn't get over that. Like, this is Hugo Weaving, and he plays that character, just grunting, kind of grumpy Rex character. Well, Skye is great as well. She's that balance, that mother figure to Babe. So I just say it's a solid cast, solid characters in that way. So, but yeah, throw it out to you. Anything else to add?
I've got a quote and a scene that I'd like to talk about. Not to jump ahead, but so I really like the joke, the line where Babe says, "Move along there, yeah, big butt heads."
She's like, you got to insult them. You got to be mean to him. That was just a cute little scene because he's like, you can tell grasping at like he's never done it in his life. Like,
that's so cute.
Yes.
And the payoff, of course, is that they have, rams. They got, the horns, so they butt heads. So
that's what I love. Yes. Yeah. When you think about it, it's got a nice insight.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that too.
I love I was going to say, any quotes that you've found funny?
I like, it's again, the narrator. I go back to, there's a few other quotes from the characters, but I really like when Mr. Hoggett is going to start entering Babe. So he's doing like a practice field, and Mrs. Hoggett comes walking over the field, and she's got this look on her face. So everything just adds. It's just great. I love that quote. But the narrator just says, it was about this time that Mrs. Hoggett began to worry about her husband. And to me, I'm like, this is the straw that broke the camel's back, was now you're seeing it. Because up to that point, he's kind of quirky. He's got these different things going on. So that, to me, it was a great payoff. I just love that little subtle quote in there. But there's a lot of them. Again, Babe has those, like you said, I really like that one too. You big butt heads and just his innocence about him, the way he interacts with other animals. I mean, there's so many of them.
All right, so there's a scene I really enjoyed, and I hope you did too. When I loved it when Babe enters the house, and the duck comes in and tries to stop him from damaging everything. They're about to leave the room when they wake up the cat, and everything goes wrong. Such a great sequence, really caught my attention. It drew me closer to the characters and made me appreciate the movie more. So, that scene was well done.
Yeah. I really like how he gets the yarn on his leg and he's pulling it, and it starts to tug at the house that Mr. Hoggett made. And you just keep seeing clip of back to the window with the duck and then back to what's going on. And the duck's like flapping around and just going absolutely bonkers. And then it's finally like, stop. He comes in. That's a great scene. I agree. I really appreciated that scene. It's kind of sad though, because he built that house. He made it. He's got paint out. That's what happens is this paint gets spilled everywhere eventually. And then he gives it to his granddaughter, and she's just like, that's not the one I wanted. And the face is what was like, oh, when I saw his face, he's just got this
oh, yeah.
I spent all that time, and this is the thing. I couldn't help but chuckle, but I felt so bad for him. But yes, I really do appreciate that scene. And that's, again, the fun dynamics that Babe has with other animals as well.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, again, this was back in 1995. Some years have passed, so I'm sure you've got some interesting fun facts.
All right. So the first one I found was there were 48 pigs used to play Babe because of the type of breed grows so fast. They 48. Had to use all those. Yes. Yes.
My goodness. That's one thing I'll hand. I mean, again, went as practical as possible.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to say that is the way to go. Like, it's just incredible how practical effects. And that's where you were saying they don't make movies like this because if they made this today, I guarantee you 90% of Babe would have been CGI. And it just would have been, sure, maybe when you first see it, it looks okay. But as years go by, it just doesn't age as well. This is almost timeless. I mean, you can kind of tell when it's practical, but it was really realistic because they mixed in 48 pigs in there, and it just works so well. It's really good.
The next one I found was one reason why it took George Miller 10 years to get this movie to screen was because he was waiting on the technology to catch up to his vision. Which I found very interesting because we've actually had almost exactly the same fun fact before with other movies, and I love that he was willing to be patient and wait until technology was able to actually fulfill what could be, his vision. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. What a time to be alive in the 90s, right? There was so much technology advances that we just didn't know what we had. There was huge leaps. I mean, you look at anything, if it's movies, video games, those types of things, it just was leaps and bounds. Now you don't see it as much. There's advancement, but man, that's exactly what you're saying. They knew the technology would get there. It was just like all at once, a perfect storm.
So the next one is, this is funny. The film had 56 animal trainers on set to handle the almost, wait for it, 1,000 animals.
Wow. I can't imagine.
Could you imagine trying to film something with all that going on?
What would that smell like? 1,000 animals eating and relieving themselves constantly. Man, that's just round of applause. It's been 30 plus years ago, but you got to hand it to the production crew. Just even if you had a minor job, you still had to put up with that every day, and the noise, constant animal noises. That's impressive.
So you're gonna love this one. 3 years earlier, James Cromwell played in The Babe, a movie about Babe Ruth.
Right. That's so cool when you think about it.
So Babe and The Babe, 3 years apart.
That's not confusing at all, right? When you go to
his acting credits, they're gonna be like, he has his resume or whatever, and they're like, I think you put this on there twice.
That's where every word matters. Sometimes they, like the or a. It literally matters. It's a definition of this Babe Ruth baseball movie and a film about a talking pig that herds sheep. Polar opposites.
All right, it's time for a fun fact trivia question. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I hope I can keep this streak going. I've got a good one going.
Okay. I know you do. And I'm very impressed. So it's another true or false.
Okay.
Did this movie make the 2000s list from the American Film Institute's 500 nominated for the top 100 funniest American movies? True or false?
That's interesting.
It's a wordy question, so don't overthink it.
I mean, it's 2000, so you're talking. It was fairly
5 years had 5 years had gone by.
I'm gonna say true,
and it is true.
All right, that's interesting though. Top 500.
So I guess it was nominated in the 500 nominated for the best funniest films, 100 funniest films, which is interesting because I don't know, like, I guess it's of all time because they did one in 98, just 2 years earlier, and it made that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool too, but I wanted to have the most current one. So
I wonder where it placed then on that.
Yeah, I don't know that. I meant to look that up, but I don't know where it placed. But yeah, to me, that's quite an accomplishment because the Film Institute, they take it seriously.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll throw it out there. If somebody knows it, be sure to comment below, like put that number up there. I'm interested to find out. We'll have to do some research.
I should have researched it further, but I didn't. I was in a hurry.
That's all right. It leaves a little mystery there,
It does. I like the little mystery. Like,
yeah.
Maybe,
gives a chance to look it up and see for yourself too. So I kind of like that. So, all right. Well, my streak is alive. Let's hope it continues. Keep that train a-rolling. Well, before we get to our rating, we got to look around because like you were mentioning, there's some interesting reviews out there. But Seth, what kind are you seeing out there?
All right. So the first one is a repeat offender. So CC, the Movie Man -1 said, this is about as good as it gets for a failing movie, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Wow. Yeah, it's for a family flick. There's a little things to be concerned about, just like the intense scenes. There's the sheep we didn't really touch on. It does get attacked by some wolves, and there's a little bit of blood there. But as much as that happens, like I said, I do appreciate it's realistic. I'm not saying I like that. It's just it does keep it on the more realistic side. That's what farm life is all about. I know I didn't grow up on a farm personally, but ones talk about like, yep, we got some coyotes. We've got different wild animals that are always a threat to your livestock. So it does. It's a family flick, but it also brings you into what it's like. I mean, it's not trying to hide anything. That's what farm life is all about. But 10 out of 10, first one.
And I got to say, if memory serves me, CC the Movie Man -1 is very critical. So 10 out of 10 is really a big statement for him. So I think that's amazing. Yeah.
That's what I love about repeat offenders is we're starting to get their personalities a little bit. So it carries more weight when they get ratings like that. That's awesome.
So the next one is HB Dave _77 says, a little pig has miles to go, 7 out of 10.
Okay, but 7, that's still a good rating. I mean, that's, right there above average, but still, I personally, and when I give a 7, like, yeah, that's a good flick. So maybe again, with those intense moments, that could be a turnoff for some people. I could definitely see.
I think this might be a repeat offender as well. The Almighty Finger said... If you like that, you'll like this. It will moisten the eyes of the hardest man, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll get into it in the final review a little bit, but there was a difference in like watching it a little bit now being older. I come to appreciate. So that's a good statement though. Yeah, I mean it's so much of a like I talk about like the premise, but there's a lot of heart here. There's a lot of wholesome things that you can really glean from it, especially the lessons learned, those types of things. So that's a good one. That's a really good way to put it, how to summarize it, especially if you are coming back to it later like I did many years later. Well, one last thing we like to do, we like to put movies through the kid test. So I have children 10 years and under, and I think for the most part, they had a good time. There's a lot to enjoy here. They just said, yeah, that was good. The one thing I will bring out, I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, 6, and a 3-year-old. I also have a newborn, but I don't count them. They can't really give me feedback on what they think of it. But my 8-year-old actually said, I'm sick and tired of all this blood. Because, like I said, poor Ma, that's a sad scene. I do like that. We didn't really touch on it. There's the mice. They're kind of like the narrators. They make it kind of like a book. And they do say a dark day or something. I forget, a very sad day or something like that. It does warn you, like, this is coming. Yeah. So, but he didn't really like that part. I get it. It was an intense part. There's a few scenes like that. I would go back to like the duck. You think it's the actual duck that gets slaughtered and that's their dinner. It ends up being a different duck. It's still kind of an intense part. There's little things like that. But I'll just go back to it's the realistic. If you were on a farm, I've heard stories of like, when I was 8 years old, we were plucking chicken feathers off and, that's how we would get dinner that night. Those types of things. It doesn't push it. It keeps it within reason. At least it did for me. The kids did kind of get quiet at times, I will say. They were kind of like, oh, this is new. For me, it's kind of a good experience. It's that coming of age kind of things. It's not going to be too graphic. So overall, they liked it. And I would say it's definitely going to be good for kids. Just be aware of that. I like that the mice kind of give you that heads up on those scenes, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it is that time for us to put our final rating on it. So let's start with you, Seth. Going to ask you the question for Babe. How are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at Grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic?
I'll make this pretty short. So I really was on the fence about this one. And maybe in a while I'll change my mind because I know I was similar to you. I did come back to it newer, like fresher, and it was a different experience. So maybe I'll come back to it and I'll watch it. But for this time, I will watch it at Grandma's, hoping to come back to it fairly soon. And I would say this is more of a higher tier, like almost take it home because it's a great film, but I felt there were some things that didn't warrant a G rating, and it was a little bit intense at times for maybe younger viewers.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that out because we mentioned that it's G rated, and I don't think it's pushing it. Like when we say, I can't believe it was G, it's just, it was a surprise because I think if it was made today, it would get a PG rating just because
for sure.
of that. I mean, there's also the cat scratching Babe's nose, and there is blood. I mean, it's just a little scratch. But my 8-year-old, that's when he said, "I'm getting tired of all the blood." And I'm like, "It's just a scratch, buddy. Like I get it." So yeah, it is just a little bit more intense at times than you would expect. Like I bet if it was made today, they would tone that down a lot more. But it's still a great flick. I'm with you on that. It's just, I can't get over how well the practical effects hold up. We didn't even talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack has a nice, charming just way about it, adds that oomph to those heartfelt moments. That final scene is still just timeless to me. I love it. It's just such a masterful way it was done of he's in this competition and everybody's just laughing because he's, putting this pig. I mean, on the surface, it just seems funny. But then from there, when Babe is able to control the sheep, thanks to Rex, got that code word from the other sheep, it's just silence. But it's so masterful, just the way that plays out. And the little, like even the gate closing, the creaking adds so much depth to it. I just can't get over it. You see why, if you were in the 90s, "That'll do, pig" was said all the time. And it was because of that. Yeah. And you might still say it to this day. But I mean, you could talk to your mailman back then and be like, "That'll do, pig." It was just kind of in conversation with everybody. So it really does hold up. But I'm going to be with you. I can't sing enough praises of how good this movie holds up. But for my personal taste, just like it's a good movie to come back to every once in a while. It's just one of those movies. I can't put my finger on it. I would also say it's a nice, like higher tier, watch it at grandma's. And I don't know, that feels fitting to me. Like this is a movie, if I went over to my grandma's house, she would put it on first thing and I would be all for it. I'd be like, yeah, let's put on Babe. Let's have a good time with it. So that's where my rating is at, but I can't recommend it enough. If you've never seen this, go check it out. It's a great time. It's just so much charm that goes on to it. And another side note, another thing that's like, there's a lot of things that remind me of growing up too. I know it's totally random, but we were talking about like the gate. It slams and it opens abruptly. And so Mr. Hoggett sees it and eventually he makes this contraption that slows it down. My grandpa would do that. He would figure out these little contraptions. So even just little subtle things like that, I just appreciate it. It made me think of growing up, reminded me of my grandpa making those little inventions. And so I think there's little things you might pull out. That's one example. And you're just going to have a good time. But that's going to be my rating, at least for now. Well, there you go, folks. Another one in the books. This was so much fun to come back to. So much 90s nostalgia coming back to. It's just, I can't get enough of it. So before we go, though, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on YouTube, Threads, Facebook, Instagram at Movies at Grandma's House, and on TikTok at LADX Media. Feel free to email us movie suggestions, memories, comments to moviesatgrandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a very excellent newsletter, so join us on Beehive as well as the community on Beehive, and check out our Patreon for exclusive content for loyal fans. As always, we're brought to you by movieposters.com, so please use code Grandma's House, that's all one word, at checkout for up to 15% off.
All good stuff. Yeah, make sure you are on our newsletter. That's where you get entered for a free movie poster. We do a giveaway once a month. It's free. You just sign up and you are entered every single month. Another big shout out to Big Poppin' Kettle Corn. The stuff is delicious. It is my movie snack of choice. We'll have a link posted. They have different events they go to. So if you follow that link, you'll see where they'll be at next. Go get yourself a bag today. Well, that's going to do it for our time at Grandma's. But don't worry, we will be back soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.